Every sport has its frontier, the place where courage meets risk and where every heartbeat feels like a coin toss. On two wheels, that frontier is sharper than anywhere else, because here the line between victory and disaster is measured in fractions of a second at impossible speeds. Imagine gladiators not with swords, but with machines that scream louder than any Colosseum crowd, carrying them through corners faster than the human mind was ever meant to process. Generations of riders have treated this arena as their proving ground, pushing the limits of engineering, bravery, and human endurance. But MotoGP is not just a spectacle of speed, it's a story of evolution, where every breakthrough in safety, technology, and design carries the weight of lives on the line. This is the journey of how the fastest sport on two wheels became both a mirror of human obsession and a laboratory for the future. If you're ready to explore the hidden layers behind the noise and the glory, hit like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments what story we should cover next. MotoGP in its earliest form was nothing like the polished championship we recognize today. It was raw, unpredictable, and often terrifying. The very first MotoGP season in 1949 brought together a patchwork of riders. Many of them war veterans who saw speed as freedom, and machines that were closer to modified street bikes than purpose-built racers. That debut year set the tone for the sport, and while the Fédération Internationale de Motocyclisme created the structure, it was the riders and manufacturers who gave it soul. In the 1950s and early 1960s, MotoGP became a stage where national pride, engineering ambition, and pure daring collided. Brands began experimenting with exotic engine configurations, from screaming singles to multi-cylinder experiments, each chasing supremacy in an arena that was just as much about survival as it was about points. Riders accepted the grim reality that one mistake on the long road circuits could be fatal, yet crowds swelled because the danger made heroes larger than life. Over time, the sport shifted from public roads to dedicated racetracks, bringing not only more safety but also tighter racing that tested precision over recklessness. The move was pivotal because while it kept the gladiatorial spirit alive, it signaled MotoGP's transition from chaotic origins into a discipline that demanded both athletic conditioning and technical mastery. This foundation, born of risk, passion, and the hunger for national prestige, set the stage for MotoGP's next great transformation, the technological arms race that would redefine both the machines and the men who rode them. MotoGP truly came of age when the machines began outpacing even the boldest imaginations, and the 1970s through the 1990s became an arms race unlike anything motorsport had seen. Two-stroke engines emerged as the weapons of choice, lighter and fiercer than their four-stroke predecessors, producing shrieking power bands that demanded both bravery and finesse to tame. Riders who could master these razor-edge bikes became icons, while manufacturers poured resources into squeezing every possible advantage out of aerodynamics, frame design, and exotic materials. For spectators, it was a golden era of rivalry, where legends battled not only each other, but also the unpredictable beasts beneath them. Yet this escalation came with a price. Safety lagged behind performance, and the number of career-ending crashes raised pressing questions about how far the sport should go in its pursuit of speed. By the late 1990s and early 2000s, MotoGP entered a new chapter with the return of four-stroke prototypes, marrying brute power with cutting-edge electronics. That shift signaled more than just a technical reset. It was the moment when MotoGP became the ultimate testbed for technology that would filter down to production motorcycles worldwide. This new era, defined by both innovation and unprecedented star power, carried the sport into the modern age, where legends like Valentino Rossi and Marc Marquez would shape MotoGP's identity for a generation. In the modern era, MotoGP has become a spectacle where technology, talent, and showmanship converge, and nowhere is this clearer than in the dominance of figures like Valentino Rossi, Marc Marquez, and today's rising stars. The shift to advanced electronics, seamless gearboxes, and aerodynamic appendages has created a landscape where the difference between first and 10th can be measured in tenths of a second. Yet the human element still defines the drama. Rossi turned MotoGP into mainstream theater with his charisma and relentless consistency, while Marquez showed what it meant to push the human body to extremes with impossible lean angles and daring overtakes. Even as machines grow smarter, the riders remain gladiators, constantly adapting to bikes that evolve at lightning speed and championships that demand near perfection across continents. Safety has improved dramatically compared to the sport's brutal beginnings, but MotoGP never lost its essential tension. Every race still feels like a battle on the razor's edge. That tension is what keeps millions glued to their screens. And it's also what ensures MotoGP will continue to evolve, not just as a championship, but as the fastest sport on two wheels, with a legacy that links past heroes to future innovations. The story of MotoGP is ultimately the story of evolution, how a dangerous pastime on public roads became the most advanced motorcycle championship in the world. The journey began with fragile machines and fearless riders who treated survival as just another part of racing, and it matured into a global sport where science and spectacle walk hand in hand. What makes MotoGP compelling for today's fans is that its DNA hasn't changed. Riders still gamble with physics every lap. Manufacturers still see it as the ultimate proving ground, and the outcome of every season still hinges on the smallest margins. For US viewers, the significance runs deeper than highlight reels. MotoGP has influenced the motorcycles available in showrooms, from engine configurations to electronic safety systems, and it has shaped how we think about performance on two wheels. The sport's accessibility in America has grown with streaming platforms and stateside races, making it easier than ever to follow the legends and discover the next rising stars. Ownership lessons carry through as well. The technologies pioneered here often trickle down into street bikes, offering better performance, efficiency, and safety for riders everywhere. Reliability, once an afterthought in the high-risk days, is now integral to both the sport and the consumer machines it inspires. When we look at MotoGP, we're not just watching racing, we're witnessing a laboratory of speed, courage, and progress that never stops moving forward. And that's the real legacy. MotoGP isn't simply about who wins on Sunday. It's about how those battles shape what we ride, how we dream, and what the future of motorcycling will become.